Hi everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut. First things first, we always check our video and our sound. I can see me, so that's good. And I can hear me. Yay! Because right before, I was getting set up, and at about 20 after 10, my computer just went blank because I forgot to plug it in. And I was like, oh crap. So then I had to reset it up. We retested it. I ran to the bathroom, ran back, and was like, hopefully something didn't snafu in that little bit. So anyways, here we are, Crafters Classroom, April 8th. Today we are doing, let me just put my phone back so I can see it. My mom is behind the camera with me, so say hi.
Hi there.
So she'll be answering any questions. So if you have any questions, she'll be posting links. If you have any questions, feel free to type them online. I'm doing something a little different, so I'm not doing my mechanical type cards, nothing fun and interactive. So we're doing watercolor today because I'm using Peerless Watercolors and two different types of watercolor paper. So let's go down to the table. I think we probably have everybody with us.
Anna Ito says she's still seeing Beth from Mosaic Moments on.
Yeah, you have to refresh.
Okay.
So, Mosaic Moments is actually on after. So yeah, go down to the table.
Okay. Okay, there.
Okay. Yeah, Mosaic Moments is after me at 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Central. So this, if you ordered this kit, this is what you want to get out right now. So in the kit, there were 4 different card packets. So in the kit, there's 4 different card packets. And I'm not even sure which one we're going to start with yet. I haven't decided that. So let's actually start with this butterfly one. So I'm going to put all my other ones off to the side. And then later I'll probably be like, oh, where'd my kit go? So, okay, so we're going to start with this one, but you also have a packet that has this little swatch thing in it. This is our little paint palette. And then there were also 2 pieces of paper in there. And these are kind of your tester papers, because these are the main 2 types of watercolor paper that we actually have a third one, but these are the ones that can withstand more water. So the one that's kind of dimply on it, well, they're both kind of dimply, but there's one that feels a little bit softer and has bigger dimples. That's the cold press watercolor. And if you want to write the name of it on the back, you can. I'm just going to write it right on the front, just because. And I know it's hard to see because it's white, and they're both white, and we're on camera, so. But the ones with the littler, tinier dimples, that is the Royal Ultra White Felt. And it's kind of smoother on one side than it is on the other. So those are your 2 testers. You can certainly just set them aside and not use them for testing and use them for something else. But I'll talk about the differences in the 2. So the cold, and this one is the Royal Ultra White Felt. And you don't have to write these on yours, obviously, but so the cold press watercolor is a true cold press. So it's a premium watercolor paper. So it takes a lot of water to it without pilling, okay, or getting wrinkly or wavy. This one, the Ultra White Felt, it absorbs the water. So the water stays on top of this one a little bit longer, and you can manipulate it a little bit more. The Royal Ultra White Felt, it will soak in. It'll take quite a bit of water, and it will soak in, and you won't be able to blend it once it soaks in as much. And if you work it a lot with your brush, it will pill eventually. And then we have our light duty watercolor, which we're not using today. So,
is anybody else having problems? Somebody says you keep cutting out, Sarah.
Okay, so let us know if anyone else is having problems. It could be just the gal that's cutting in and out. It could be her connection. I also post on YouTube, so sometimes watching the feed after on YouTube, it's perfectly fine. So it might be your Facebook connection. So let's go back to our little paint, but let us know, because if we need to restart, we will.
Okay.
So look at the comments, Mom, if people are saying it's fine.
They're saying it's fine.
Okay, they're saying it's fine. So
Oh, somebody else's keeps freezing up too. Oh, two
So-
say fine, two say problems.
anyways, we're using the Peerless Watercolors. But yes, I do post it on my YouTube channel too. And if people have trouble during Facebook, we find if they watch the YouTube, they don't have trouble. And I think my YouTube is the Paper Cut Ink, INC.
Flashing grace green. Yeah, people are having problems. I get lines in and out, but voice is good. Oh, cutting out. What do you think we should do?
Yeah, with voice is
Refreshing does not help. I have missed most of what you have said.
good. You keep freezing up.
Ooh.
Fine here, no problem. Mine is fine. Good here still. Mine is fine. No problems. Mine is fine. So it looks like the majority of people, it's fine. So I'm not going to restart.
Okay.
The people, the gals that are having trouble, you might want to go, because I do stream it live on my YouTube at the same time. So
On your YouTube, right?
on my YouTube, the Paper Cut Ink,
Okay.
INC. Maybe you can post the link to my YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Sometimes if you're on YouTube, it'll say videos and then live, so you do need to go to the live to pick up the live. But I'm just going to keep going, just because most people are good. And if you're having trouble, maybe go to my YouTube or go to YouTube and watch the replay if you
I'm
missed
going
the
to give them a
beginning.
link right now.
Okay, my mom's going to post a link. So, anyways, we're using the Peerless Watercolor. These are the little swatches that you have, and they are tiny, or they're small, but I gave you enough because I've been using this one when I was making samples and such. But what the Peerless Watercolors are, is they're a watercolor sheet, and the color is actually baked on. So the baked on sheet is your actual paint. The back is like what the color is. So a good example of that is, like this one is actually the Royal Crimson, or the, let's see, this one is deep blue. So even though the color doesn't look deep blue, it is deep blue on the back. So we did put the paint side up, but by chance, when Becky was putting them, because she like hand assembled these, if she, put it and you're not pulling any color off it, maybe she put the paint side down. I don't think she did, because we had them all facing the right way, but just letting you know that one side has the color baked on and the other side is the color that it should be after you paint it. So, but the baked on color might not resemble, like this Wisteria Violet looks like a dark brown, but when you pick the color up. So I'm going to go through on my little swatch, and this is your extra swatch. I have two different sizes of water brushes. I mostly use the small one, and I actually did all the samples with the small one, but if you have a bigger one, it does sometimes work better for doing this wash technique that we're going to do first. I also have by me a block or a paint palette and some paper towel. Like this is one that I was using, and I usually dip my brush on there to clean it off or to see what color I have. I have an extra paper towel because when you're working with the cold press, if you get too much color on there, you can dab it off, which I think Carol does kind of stuff with that when you were working with Art Anthology. So if you want to test it, I usually take and squeeze my brush so I get a little drop of water, and I don't do that over the top of my actual watercolor paper. And then you can pick a color up. Now, we're going to use the yellow a lot, the orange a lot, and I think the purple the most. So if you want to pick a different color. Now, when they sent us the peach, I think they sent us two different shades of it. So don't don't do a big drop of water on your paint palette. Just get your brush wet and then pick up your color. And like I just dipped it on there just a little bit, and that's my color. And if I have water, say I did a drop of water right there, I can blend that out. See how that blends out? And then if my color is even too much, I can take my paper towel and blot it, and see how that switched from a nice, and I could leave it dry by itself and it'll stay nice and dark like this. Or if I get too much color, I can blot it off. Okay, so that's what I use and then I use my paper towel also in between colors to kind of clean off my brush. So this first one we're going to do, and I'm just going to demo on my cold press watercolor, I'm going to, and I kind of have a drop right here if I need to get my brush wet instead of squeezing it every time, because I'm using one of the water brushes where the water's in the tube. I can just pick up a little water, but I'm just going to pick up some yellow, and I am going to put it on my block to make it more of a wash because I want it less strength. And I'm just going to go across on my actual one, and I'll do that next, and just kind of, you know, wash that color onto there. Again, if I get it too dark, I can always blot it up. So we're going to pull out our actual piece of cardstock that says thank you on it. But yeah, this piece, if you ever want the cold press watercolor, we're going to do the first 2 cards with the cold press because it's so user friendly. And if you want to test, you can use that, or you can save that for a future project. I'm just going to leave mine right there.
Okay, the link is up if they're having problems.
Okay, so the link to YouTube is up. So I am going to color wash as much as I want on here to give a yellow background. And then I am going to do the orange over the top. I should have said if you have a heat tool, you can always pull that out because that can help, you know, dry anything. So we're going to start, pick up a little color. Well, make sure your brush is clean, especially because we're using yellow. So make sure you have a clean brush, you know, either squeeze a drop of water or pick some water up. And you don't have to pick up a lot of color. Just start with just a little bit and then kind of make a little wash on your block or your paint palette, and just bigger strokes, brush over the top of it. You can squeeze more water out, that'll blend it. So if it is too dark, you can either blend it out or you can pick up color, you know, with your paper towel. But it's pretty user friendly. And that's why sometimes I use a bigger brush when I'm doing a wash, just because then it's easier to blend it. And it's as much color or as little color as you want. So up to you. You can go right over the butterflies because we are going to do orange over the top of them. So now I'm going to clean off my brush. If you have a heat tool, you can heat it. It will eventually dry. But I might, because I'm going to be doing my butterflies, I might like just dry them a little bit. I did cheat. I printed these on a laser printer. I set it for extra thick cardstock. So, and you can wipe your wash off there if you want. So I did print them with a laser printer. If you are stamping, the cold press watercolor is very, very, very absorbent. So it's hard to emboss. I've tried embossing with a Versamark, with other embossing inks, and it just sucks it in so fast that it's really hard to emboss. So you're better off if you're going to stamp, you know, you could color wash first and then you could stamp your butterflies. You're going to stamp them in Stays-On. It is best to use a platform so you can, so if you're stamping, it's best to use a platform because then you can stamp it multiple times in the same place. Being that it's so absorbent and has a little bit of a texture to it, sometimes you do need to stamp twice, okay? So, moving on, I am going to pick up a little bit of orange, and I didn't get my brush very wet this time. So yeah, I'm not sure why people, but if you're having trouble, I see that a couple people have commented that. If you're having trouble, I would go to the YouTube link that my mom sent. So anyways, now I see I just picked up a tiny, tiny bit and I didn't squeeze it. My brush is wet, but I didn't squeeze it. And I am just going to color in those butterflies. And this one is it's either a lighter orange or a darker orange. Like I said, it was supposed to be a lighter orange, but I think they sent the darker orange. Again, it doesn't matter because you can always make it lighter. So you're just going to color in your butterflies. With the orange. And just kind of pick up tiny, tiny bits. Tiny bits of orange. This is a pretty easy one to color because they're all orange. And you can color right over the lines. Now it does make it nice if you have an embossed image, but yeah, the cold press does not emboss real well. So just pick it up, tiny, tiny bits.
I think the people that switch to YouTube are having no problems at all on YouTube. So
Okay, good. If anyone's on YouTube, my mom can't type comments on YouTube.
oh yeah, I can.
Oh, you can?
I
Okay.
can. I can type comments on YouTube. I've logged in and
Okay. So did more people switch over to YouTube?
well, there's 12 on there right now
Yeah,
that
which
I can
is
see.
More than what we normally have. I just have it on YouTube because I do have a few people that aren't on Facebook. So then they are able to join on YouTube and feel like they can be a part even though they're not a part of Facebook. And now, since we were having trouble, and you can color your butterflies whatever color you want. If you want to make them a different color, you knock your socks off. But now that we were having some cutting in and out issues, YouTube came in very handy for that.
I don't know what's causing that, but
So I post on YouTube. I do a Thursday night every week, and I post on YouTube for that too. So yeah, if you want to make some of these different colors, I should have given you red so you could get a nice, really deep orange, but I didn't give you red. So there's a pink, but I should have given you red because we could have always made pink with red. So anyways, you can color some darker if you want, some lighter.
some blue.
Yeah, you can make different colors. Actually, I think I colored this very first one a little bit darker than everything else. So anyways, that's the basics. You can see how easy it is on the cold press watercolor to do that wash and also to color in. So this was a pretty basic coloring. Like I didn't use a ton of water, so I feel like I can attach this one together right away. And I'm using a 100-pound whipped cream. The cold press is not a stark white, so that's why I did not go with a stark white cardstock. I went with our whipped cream, and I did double layer it. So I attached it right to my other layer, and then I popped it up with foam tape. So that's what I'm going to do next. So if it is wet, you can take a heat tool, and you can heat it to dry it. Mine isn't that wet. I don't really need this. If yours is wet and you don't have your heat tool out, you can always set it aside to dry before if it feels wet on the back where your tape's not going to stick to it. You can just set it aside and let it. I'm using an ATG gun, but you can use whatever adhesive you want to use. If it's wet all the way through because you used a ton of water, you might have to wait till it dries. So I hope if anyone was having trouble that they're now with us with no trouble. And we're doing 4 cards, so I repeat a lot of stuff.
And people are saying YouTube is working just great. So if you're having trouble, just go to YouTube.
Perfectly. Shoo!
Yeah, right. No kidding.
If it's not one thing, it's another. But at least this one we had a remedy. We had another way for you.
That's always good, isn't it?
Yeah. So. So yeah, sometimes Facebook, I mean, if it's Facebook, it could be your weather.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? It could be too many people in your neighborhood that are on, and yeah, whatever.
Well, let's see. On Facebook, you've got 44 right now, so
Okay.
I'm assuming everybody that's on Facebook right now is receiving it just fine without major issues.
So I did pop this one up. You don't have to if you don't want to. And
Oh, sir, I like that card. I need some thank you cards.
I will get you hooked up with, well, it depends on how many thank you cards you need. I have two right here.
Okay.
But if you need more, I can hook you up where you can make them. You can color your butterflies.
All right. Thank you very much. Or maybe I should just go through your stash before your kids get here.
Oh yeah, you could do that. I probably have some in my stash. So the next one we are going to do is this one, the Thinking of You, because that one is on the cold press watercolor too. And now we're going to do some color blending of colors up here. And again, you can color your butterfly any color you want. If you want to make him a different color, you feel free. If you want to make your flowers a different color, you do whatever. You do you, man.
Oh, those coneflowers come in all kinds of colors.
Yeah. So on this one, I picked up a little bit of yellow, and I want it pretty light. So I did make a little wash on my block. And I colored them all yellow. Now, one thing with the coneflowers, the center of the coneflower is normally brown. I forgot to give you a brown. There is a brown in the set, so we are going to make the brown with blue and orange makes the brown. And we're going to do that on the block. But first I'm coloring my petals yellow. And then I'm going to drag in some orange. So I'm going to keep going on my yellow until I'm done, just because I have yellow on my brush. But I'll show you. I'm going to clean it off a little bit, pick up a tiny bit of orange, and then I'm going to start at the base of the flower and just kind of pull that color up. So I'm going to put a little bit at the base, just a teeny bit at the base. And then I'm just going to pull that color up to blend it a little bit. Because I want to keep some of my yellow on there, but I want my orange on there too. So, and depending on how wet they are with your orange, with your yellow, it will tend to travel down a little bit. Oh, somebody said the video stops if you want to write a comment. That's got to be a Facebook thing.
Video stops if you want to write a comment.
Yeah.
That's a Facebook, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to go back and finish my yellows. But coloring with the Peerless is pretty easy. So if you have trouble with watercolors, this is it's a pretty easy way to color, and they're pretty darn convenient, because if you're traveling like to Spring Bling and you want to work on something else, you could bring your palettes, which we're coming next year, by the way.
Yeah, let's go. I'm
So,
ready.
Anyways, but it's a pretty easy way to bring just a water brush and your palette. And if you pick up colors off of your palette, you can close your book and they'll just be on the other side. So yeah, you can get it a little bit wet and you just close your book and you're ready to go. So, yep, keep coloring your flower petals. And again, you don't have to do yours yellow and orange. There's a purple, which the purple's pretty dark, so you can do a lot of different shades of purple with that. Or you can mix them, which we are going to do in just a minute for our brown.
16 now on YouTube. That's a big deal.
So, oh, and we're going to use the green. Now the greens, there's a dark green and a light green. The light green does show up a little bit darker. Some people they're light green, because I think they might have sent me the wrong green too. if your green is darker than what you want, you can always mix it. So hang on, I'm just going to go and do a little bit of orange on my petals in the bottom base of them. Oh, I'm glad we had that YouTube option.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, I am too.
And you can use the peach if you want. Again, it may be light, it may be dark. You can blend your colors. Oh, I think this one was supposed to be green and I did it yellow. That's okay, I'm going to do it green over the top. I lost track of what my yellows and my greens were. But anyways, this green is supposed to be this lighter green, but I think this one is a little bit darker. So depending on your green, and you can always test it on your paper towel. So that's a little bit darker than I want. So I can maybe take a little bit of green and add it to my little yellow drop that's right here. And let's see if I can get a different green. I can always test it on my, oops, I do want a little bit more yellow. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of yellow. I'm gonna put some yellow down on my block. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of green, mix it a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and very, very gently, because my brush is a little bit bigger. See how my green is a little bit limier this time? And I'm just gonna go over my yellow flowers that were supposed to be green. Or these leaves were supposed to be green because they're not part of the flower, they're the leaf. And if you can dry between colors if you want. If it's too wet, it may, you know, bleed a little bit with the, like if you're right next to your yellow, it may bleed a little bit if it's too wet. So, and not meaning that it's too wet, but if it's still wet. Okay. So I think that, oh, this one's supposed to be green too, and I colored it yellow. I was just going crazy with my yellow. I wasn't realizing where my leaves were versus my, and I missed a flower petal here, so I'm just going to do that. Now, mixing colors. We need brown in our cone flower.
Brown. Oh.
Brown. So if we do, it's orange and blue. If you do the orange and then the blue, it'll be more blue. But if you just do a little bit of blue and then your orange on top of it, then it will be brown. So you know, you can mix all sorts of colors. So we're going to pick up a little bit of blue. We're going to put a drop. And I probably have too much blue there. Because then I'm going to clean it off before I go to my orange, because I don't want to. I'm going to pick up a little bit of orange. I'm going to mix it and see how that turned brown, and you can test it on your little paper towel. You can add more orange if you want it, you know, less brown. Or add a little bit of water.
I should have paid more attention in my art classes.
I don't think I did pay attention. A lot of it's experimental too. But, yeah, we made our brown. Okay, clean off your brush. And you can clean off your block if we don't need that brown anymore. I think we need it one other place, but on a different card. So then you're going to do your butterfly, whatever color you want. Now the Wisteria Violet does come off pretty dark. So if I'm going to my tester page, it comes out pretty dark. Again, I'm going to put it on my block. Well, I've actually got most of it off there already, so I can go straight. But if you do it on here and it's darker than you want, you can always go to your block and dilute it out a little bit. Or you can take your paper towel, you know, and dab it up to dilute it out. Because it stays on top of the cold press watercolor, so you can pick colors up. So the whole stamp set that I'm using is Impression Obsession, and it's one stamp set minus the sympathy words that I used. And if you want to color your butterfly different colors, if you want to add blue to the tips of his ends here, you can do that. So,
What is the name of that stamp set, Sarah?
oh, it should be on the instruction sheet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's why you left this here for me.
I did leave that here for you.
Oh, goodness, thank you.
Okay, so we're doing pretty good. Again, you can, if you want to adjust, because I had a little bit of green blend into because my flower petal was still too a little bit wet. Maybe I want to add a little bit of orange so I can cover that up. And now that my flowers aren't as wet, I can add a little bit more orange at that base of the flower. But see how I'm not using very much of the watercolor. So that's how much I gave you. We're making 4 cards. This is how much you get. You get a whole sheet like that. So you can imagine how long they'll last. Now I do make a wash with my yellow a lot for sunrises and sunsets. So my yellow I tend to go through faster. Someday maybe we'll do that. We'll do sunsets and sunrises with the Peerless. So, okay. So I think I'm done. Again, clean your brush off because then you know you're ready for the next one. Now for assembly. Again, you can heat it if you want. I think I have a little puddle right there. So I could blot it off and it's going to remove the color, or I can heat it and it's just going to dry it. I forgot to put that on my, a heat tool would be handy, so I apologize for that. Okay, so again, I used the Pop Tone 100-pound whipped cream. I did no I didn't. I attached this piece right to my black, and it has a very thin border, and then I popped that up. Then I also popped up the Thinking of You. When you pop up the Thinking of You, don't put foam tape underneath right here. Yeah, I think I did that too, but then it made it a little bit bulkier right there. So it's up to you. So let's get my tape out. I wasn't sure how long this one was going to take. We're at 11:05. I did a little bit of explanation in the beginning, so I think we're going to be good for time. We're going to move on to the Royal Ultra Felt, and then you'll see we'll test that one. We'll go to our little tester sheet if you're using that as a tester, and we'll play with that a little bit before we go on to our cards.
My orange smeared on the first card. Can I fix it?
If it's smeared, like right away, you could blot it, and that should pick the color up. If it's been sitting there for a while, you might not be able to. And if you want me to send you a new panel, just let me know which one it is, and I'll send you a new panel for that one. But if it's right after you did it, you should be able to blot it with a paper towel to pick up that color. It might not get all of the color up, but it'll get most of it up. But again, if it's been sitting for a little bit, it might not pick up. Also, adding water to it will dilute it out, but you don't want to dilute out all the things next to it, depending on where exactly you had it. So the watercolor paper works really good with the sprays.
Sue Plasky says she puts bling on the mistakes.
Oh, yeah, that works too.
Love
But
that.
like the sprays that Carol was using in the last one, like this watercolor paper can take a lot of liquid. Okay, so yes, it's up to you whether you want to pop it up even on this one, then you might have to put 2 layers underneath the other side. So if you're going to put foam tape where it pops up over your image right here, then you'll put 2 layers of foam tape over the other side. Now, sometimes when you die cut, if it ends up a little jig-jaggy, just take your fingernail, or scissors, and just get all those jig-jaggies off. Technical term, jig-jaggies.
Oh, man. Okay.
So I put one right there because I'm going to pop that up, but then this one needs to be too high. If you're wondering where I'm grabbing my foam tape from, I pre-cut some on a ribbon spool. So then I don't have to worry about cutting it each time.
Oh, Sarah, you are always thinking ahead. That's a great idea. I like that.
Unless you have the pre-done poppies, but I always cut my foam tape. And yeah, this is how I have it ready. So this is just an empty ribbon spool, and they're ready to pull off. Yeah, because there's nothing that slows down a craft project more than having to cut foam tape. Okay, so there we go. Our Thinking of You card.
Beautiful. Yeah. Sarah Diane Kurtz says, you make these techniques look very doable.
They are very doable. This one is, thank you. But yeah, the Peerless Watercolors, because I am not a watercolor girl. And yeah, they're pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to go on to the Just Because. And now we're starting with the Royal Ultra White Felt. Oh, that was a way that I should have told you if you weren't sure which was which, is to pull one of them out. So we're going to pull out our swatch. You're also going to need this little guy out eventually. And your Just because this one has a little bit of trimming to it. So again, color whatever colors you want if you want to blend some color. But let me just talk about the Royal Ultra White Felt first. Because once you do I'm just going to go to this one because I haven't used it very much. Pick up my color. I may squeeze it to, I need to get a drop of water out. There it is. Pick up a little more color. So once your color goes on there, it's going to soak in. So it can absorb a good amount of water, but once it soaks into those fibers, then it's not going to blend as much. And I don't know if you can see it right there, but on the edge right here, that's where it wouldn't blend out because it already soaked in. So you're better off blending your colors here, because they'll blend a little bit, but they won't, you might end up with a line. See, I can blend it out a little bit, but the more I try and work it with my brush, and I don't even know if I can, you could get some pilling. See, it is blending out a little bit more, but I might get some pilling of the paper. So that's the difference between the cold press and the Royal Ultra White Felt. The color stays on top of this one, where on the, so see how I couldn't pick up as much color? When I picked up color with my paper towel, it stayed on top of the cold press more. Eventually goes in, but the Royal Ultra White Felt, it sucks into the paper and you don't have as much flexibility with it to pull your color off with the paper towel. You can blend it, but after it soaks in there too much, you know, you might end up with a little bit of a line. If you work it too much with the brush, you could get a little bit of pilling. So that's the differences between that cold press and the Royal Ultra White Felt. But I do like the little bit of more dimply texture in the Royal Ultra White Felt. So now I'm just going to go on to coloring. And again, you can color however you like. You don't have to copy what I did. If you don't want to think about it, just use mine as a sample and copy away, because that's what I'm here for. So I'm going to get some yellow on here. Actually, I didn't want that color to go to waste, so I used that, and it's a little bit more peachy than I wanted. I wanted some yellow, some brighter yellow. And then I want some brighter orange. And maybe I am yapping too much and we might not get all the way through our fourth card. I thought I actually have another piece of paper out here that I was going to show you what to, you know, if I had extra time, because I wasn't sure how long this would take. But I was going to demo, because the Peerless Watercolors also look nice on our crystal diamond print glitter paper. But yeah, I don't even think I'll get to that because I'm yapping a lot.
We never do that, do we, Sarah?
Yeah. So I have 15 minutes left.
Yes.
I might end while you're still coloring your last card. But we'll just keep going here. We'll get this one done. We'll move on to our last one. Yeah. Okay, just underestimate.
All right.
I always pull out extra stuff because I'm not sure. So this one, I did it all pink. Make sure you're cleaned off. But I did it pink, and I did it pretty full strength pink. And I did the whole thing pink, and then I did a little bit of purple in the center. So I did my whole thing pink. And I am pulling, that pink is a lighter pink. So I am pulling the color off the sheet a little bit more, just because when it bleeds out, then it's lighter pale than I want it. And it may be the color pale that you want it, so, because it's your project. I should have given you red. That's what I was saying earlier. I should have given you red, and we could have diluted it out to make the pink, because then you would have had the flexibility to have a dark red that you could have mixed with your orange to get a different shade. So that was my bad. I should have given you red, but oh well. We work with what we have, and you have a pretty good palette there. So now I'm going to go on to the Wisteria Violet, and I might make a little drop here with my Wisteria, because again the purple is a little bit darker, so I bled that out. So you can kind of go from the center out. So I go from the center out.
Hey, everybody's pretty quiet. You guys are all
You're all working away.
busy. Oh, good thing I'm not taking this class. I just have to moderate here.
Are you talking to you?
Yeah, I'm talking to me.
Oh.
I
Someday
can't-
we'll get my mom working along with me, and we'll get somebody else moderating.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. She's like, no, I kind of like my little...
Yeah, I kinda like this. It looks so pretty, and it looks so easy, and you make it look so fun.
So this one I did a little bit more purple than I wanted, but oh well. Oh well. So with the purple on this one, I did start out with my dark purple at the bottom, and then I just, as it lightened, then I got towards the ends. So I started out with my dark purple and then pulled my colors up.
Mosaic Moments is going on. This is Wendy Little says Mosaic Moments is going on at the same time as you are, Sarah. Steve Ziegler said there was a slight mistake on the time, and since they had already started, they continued on, so you can possibly go longer.
Oh, okay. So they're going right now?
Apparently.
Okay. So, and if you wanted a different color of purple, you could always pick up a little bit of blue too, because that'll give you a little bit different shade. I think I did that in the thistle card that's next. I picked up some blue with my purple to give it a, yep, I did. On the next card, I picked up blue with purple. So that's what the person meant that said
Yes.
that Mosaic Moments was on.
Yes.
Yeah, we weren't sure why that was happening. So I can pick up a little bit right away, but once it soaks in there, then you can't get any more off of there. So yes. So I apologize that we've got two going on at the same time. They're always saved so you can watch them. So we had we haven't had too many glitches in the last, actually it's exactly a year. I think we started April of last year. And we haven't had too many glitches, so it's been pretty good. I think you guys are enjoying it, and we've had a few little glitches, but we've gotten through them. Today is another glitch where we've got two going on at the same time. So, anyways, but again, you can pick your color up a little bit right after, but you can't pick it up, after it's soaked in.
Mosaic Moments is over now.
Oh, they're over. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now my flower petals. So yeah, I'll just keep going until we're done. We're going to finish all 4 cards today. So your green, I think this one I did do just the dark green. up to you whether you want the dark green, the light green, a combination of both, whether you want to add yellow to one of your greens to make it more yellow. That's a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to pick a little bit up. I might go on to my
I wonder if they
green.
have problems too.
I don't know. But now we're on to our the next hour is free. Yep, somebody.
Yeah.
I just read somebody's thing on that. So yeah, I'm going to stay on. We're going to finish my cards. You're not going to get me for a whole nother hour because I'm actually having Easter at my house today. Well, part of it. Then we'll do it again next weekend. So anyways, but I'm having kids over today, and then so I need to get home. So yeah, you won't have me for the whole hour.
Ooh, red.
But we'll finish all 4 cards.
The video on Facebook was great for Mosaic Moments. Well,
Yeah.
now I wonder what that was all about.
I do not know. Maybe because there were 2 posting at the same time,
Maybe. huh?
live
But
on the same page.
yeah.
Maybe that's it. And maybe they started before. I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't either, but
So-
oh well.
oh well.
Over now.
We're good. We've got people watching on YouTube. We've got people watching on Facebook.
Emily Henry said her green is light.
Yep,
Like when
the,
you,
the green is actually supposed to be light. Oh, there's the phone. So the green is actually, I think the one on some of the swatches
Yes.
is darker than what it's supposed to be. Because this is my light green in my book. So hang on, so Emily Henry, who said she has a light one,
yeah.
this is the color that it's actually supposed to be. But I think when they sent me some, because I don't cut them all out of books, they'll send me some sheets. So this one might be wrong on some people. So Emily Henry, yours that is light green is the correct green that's in the book. Okay, because in the book it's this color. Where on some people's swatches it's this color. But if you mix that with a little bit of yellow, then you can get that. Well, I would mix it on a different sheet, but then you can get that lighter yellow. Or lighter green, I mean. So yeah, if you don't have the exact same color, you can mix colors.
All right.
So I do like that lighter green better. That's like my favorite
Oh,
one.
and our Facebook page is still going black, Sarah. Oh well. Thanks for the heads up, Laura. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But we're almost done. I think if you missed any of it, you just go to YouTube and you watch it there. I always give you I always do an email to you. I always do an email to everybody that's participating. And I didn't clean my thing off. That was a bad plan, Sarah. But I always do an email, and in that email is always the link to the YouTube too. So maybe next time you're going to be like, oh, maybe I'll just go to YouTube. Okay, so we've got that all done. You can dry it if you want, but these are our mini Polaroid frames, so you can pick. You don't have to put it exactly over. Actually, it's too big, so you're going to have to trim it, but you can pick what part of the flowers you want to see. If you don't like that flower as much, you can go at this angle. So it's up to you what part of that you want to see. And what we're going to do is you're going to take a pen or a pencil, and you are just going to, like, if I want to see that, and you're just going to draw, and then we're going to trim it to fit behind. So yeah, now I'm going to go a little bit longer so I can actually finish my cards. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to trim on my black lines there just so it fits behind our mini Polaroid frame. So I'm going to pull out my little trimmer. And I'm going to trim slightly inside of these lines. If I trim on the line, then you might see it. It might poke out a little bit. So I'm going to trim just inside of my lines. It doesn't matter that it's not a rectangle because it's going to fit behind your mini Polaroid frame anyways. So I've got a totally weird shape, but that's okay because it's fitting behind, and if any part is sneaking out, like if I didn't trim enough. There we go. Just don't trim too much off. Oops, and I gotta trim.
Lots of clues on here. People telling us what's going on with their pages. Maybe some IT person can help figure this out. Huh? Somebody
Okay.
a little more knowledgeable.
So, see how I've just framed in what I want to frame? So I trimmed my little bits off just so it fits behind there. Now I am going to take tape. See, it's not even perfect behind there, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to take tape on the back of my mini Polaroid frame. We have the mini Polaroid frames in white and black, and I forget that we even have them, so I don't use them that often. And we're just going to kind of set it down over the top because it's easier to see from the front. You know, and we could have like attached it and then trimmed off the sides. That would have been an option too, but we trimmed it first. So now I'm going to attach that to my card. Now this card, if we look at it against one of our other cards, which I've got, sometimes I forget what I use, so I put little notes on the back. The one is a little bit whiter. So I think this card is our watercolor. So remember I mentioned that we had a third watercolor and it's called light duty watercolor. I think that I used that on this card. I don't have the instructions in front of me. Mom, for the mini Polaroid frame card, what are you laughing at?
Laura Sigel said, now Facebook is telling me that it is having trouble playing the video.
Oh, jeez. So it's all recorded and saved.
Yep.
Or go to YouTube. So,
yeah.
I'm going to use foam tape to pop this up. But do you have the instructions over there, Mom?
Yes.
For the one that says just because?
Just because.
It's right there.
Yes.
Oh, right on the, yeah, but the instructions are right on the table next to you. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What A2 card does it say on there?
What A2 card?
There.
100-pound watercolor A2 scored card and swatch for trimming.
Yeah. This is the other watercolor we have. It's just 100-pound, very smooth. We call it a light duty watercolor because it doesn't take too much water. Like you can watercolor on it. You can like spritz on it and pick up water, but if you brush it a lot, it will pill. And it will get a little bit more wrinkly or wavy. So I wonder if the YouTube people, are they still doing good?
YouTube people are still doing good. Everybody's happy there right now.
Okay, good. So I'm putting foam tape on the back, and then we are attaching that to our card front. Now you can attach this straight on or at an angle, whatever you want. And then you have two more pieces in here. It's this just because this is another full piece of watercolor, the light duty. So if you want to try it out, you can save. I gave you a big piece, so you can save a big chunk of it to use on something else. So yeah, I don't know what's going on today, but
yeah, Laura Siegel switched over to YouTube too. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, next month when you're with me, maybe you want to just start out right on YouTube. So because we've never had this problem before.
No.
Not to this extent. You know, where half the people are good, but half aren't. I don't even think it was half, but
No, I don't think it was half either, but
But more than just one or two.
yeah.
So I'm going to trim my just because. You can trim on a personal paper trimmer. What?
Laura Siegel says Facebook works on her phone. It didn't work on somebody else's phone, though.
So yeah, I have no idea.
God. Oh.
So I am, and this is just a white on white border. If you want to pop it up, you can, but we're going to pop it. So I'm attaching it solid onto our watercolor, and then I'm going to trim it, and then I'm going to pop it up. But if you wanted to pop both up, you can knock your socks off and pop both up if you'd like. So, well, I'm just glad that, and this was the light duty 100-pound watercolor. So yeah, you basically got to see all three of our watercolors, papers. And yeah, we're at 11:29 and I should be finishing right now, but I'm going to stay on because Mosaic Moments was on, I think they were on an hour early.
I don't know what happened. Oh.
So
I wonder how that works when you got two of them on at the same time.
well, obviously you can stream both of them, but
Yeah.
so that worked. Anyways,
How do you decide which watercolor paper to use, Sarah? Good question.
yeah, that is a good question. If I'm doing a wash like this, I prefer the cold press just because it's easy to pick up your color. It takes a lot of water. I probably use the cold press more often than I use the Royal Ultra White Felt, but the cold press you cannot emboss on.
Okay.
So if you want to have an embossed image, I definitely go to the Royal Ultra White Felt. I have done this and I don't have a sample here handy, but if you emboss this in white, and I'll look for that sample, but if you, like I had a background stamp that I embossed in white on here, and then I took the colors and kind of like rainbowish type colors, and I just did, yellow, then orange, then red, then purple, and then my white embossing stood out. It was really pretty. So, and then our 100-pound, like I've done techniques where I'll do, the Distress Oxide inks on a glass mat, squish them on there, spritz it with the water, and then I'll pick up the color onto this. You can do that on either one of these too, but the 100-pound, you can do that on there. It works really nice for that. So, but you can't do a lot of heavy brushing on the light duty watercolor because it will start to pill up for sure. And you'll get a little bit more wrinkling with this light duty. So it's for, you can watercolor on it, just not as heavy as these two. So let's go on to we're done with that one. Let's go on to our fourth one, which I didn't think I would get to or I would be rushed. Actually, I didn't even think I'd fill up the time, and look at me go.
Well, we had some issues here going on.
Yeah, we had a few issues, but.
In all fairness. So.
But I really didn't think that I would make it through. I thought I'd have like 15 minutes left. So now we're doing this one. This piece, we can go ahead and do this first before we go on to our watercoloring. If you want to trim down this is our diamond print glitter, you can trim it down, then you're going to attach it on and trim off the ends. So I'm going to do that right away.
Well, let's see. Somebody's saying, time zone ladies, Mosaic is next. Well, Mosaic was on.
Yeah, Mosaic is supposed to be next, and we're supposed to start like right now. And Stephen came on and said that they had something, so they actually went at the same time that we were on. So that's why I'm going to stay on a little bit longer, just because A, I'm not done with my cards, and B, Mosaic Moments is already done, and so you're basically watching their recorded video. So yeah, if you want to pop over and watch Mosaic Moments, you can do that. But I'm just going to stay on here, putz, and finish my cards before I go home and finish dinner for tonight. So I just cut my black diamond strip, and I'm just going to snip it off, and then I am going to attach it to my card front. And this, what is this paper, Mom? Is this the Nina Classic Crest Solar White? So this is on the one that says with deepest sympathy.
With deepest sympathy. All right. This is 110 pound Nina Classic Crest Solar White A2
Yep.
scored card
So
and layer.
The white that we're using on this scored card. So this class actually gave you a really good assortment of different whites besides the watercolor, because now this card base is the 110 pound Nina Classic Crest Solar White, which is what a lot of people use for Copics or the alcohol markers. I don't, I use our Cougar, but it's closer to color of this Royal Ultra White felt. So yeah, this class you got a whole assortment of different whites, off whites, besides just the watercolor papers. So anyways, so for this one, I did a wash in the background, and hang on a second, I did it twice. I stepped away from, you're not seeing me right now, because I came to the other side.
She probably wanted me to get something, and I probably wasn't listening.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I had done it, and this one had too much blue, and I didn't like it as much. So then I redid it and did one with less blue. So we are going to create a wash, and I think the second time I did this one, which was this one, I did the wash first, but I did try to stay away from the stems. The first time I did it, I did my coloring first, and then I did the wash after. So I don't think it matters a whole hill of beans, but so if you have your paper towel, try and find a fairly clean spot. But you're going to pick up a little bit of blue or put a drop down first of water, because I do want this to be lighter. And if it goes on too dark, you can blot it, but only right after you do it. If you wait too long, remember, this is the Royal Ultra White felt, so it's going to set in the paper. So yeah, I probably pulled up too much color. So just light strokes, and depending on how much blue you want. I don't have much blue on this one. I bled this one out a lot, but if I go to here, it's going to be darker. Where I went to my really watered out just to give a light blue background and just kind of pull that. We can dry it. We can do a little bit now. See, and now I have it too dark. Darn it. I was showing you all, and then I went too dark. But, oh well. And I'm going to try and just blot a little bit of that off. So we'll dry it, and then you can do your green. You know, as long as your blue is pretty light, you can do your green over the top if you get a little bit in the stems or the thistles. And you didn't have to make a blue background if you didn't want one.
Oh, I forgot to plug my computer in. Look at that.
Oh, did yours go? Did yours turn off?
It didn't turn off, but it just went light.
Uh-huh.
So I guess I will plug it in. There.
So yeah, I kind of like doing the wash because then you can have as much or as little color as you want. And again, right away, you can pick some of that color up as it soaks in, then you can't. I am going to leave a little bit of blue on here because to get the more thistly color, I did combine a little bit of purple with the blue. So I'm going to put some purple down, and then I'm going to combine a little blue to get my more thistly color. And this I did just take and kind of do a wispy out to the outer. So So just kind of from the inside to the outside and kind of more wispy. The bottom of the thistles needs the brown again, or a light brown. So remember how we mixed our blue, because we have blue out there already, with a little bit of orange to get our brown. But this brown isn't as dark, it's more of a tan, so you can, you'll bleed it out with a little, you'll dilute it out with a little bit of water. Okay. So your butterfly, he's colored separate and then mounted on there. Or if you just want to color this butterfly, that's fine. We die cut these after, so some may have more of the butterfly, some may have less of the butterfly.
My live pictures are like that too when I take pictures. Those butterflies are always flitting.
Yeah, they're flitting around. So if you want to just color this butterfly and use this guy for a different one, otherwise you can color this one and fussy cut it out and attach it on. Up to you. But again, we need a little bit of brown right here. So if we take a little bit of orange, we mix it with a little blue. If it's too, now we test it on our paper towel. Or if we want some more yellow in it, if we want it more tan, we can add maybe a little bit of yellow. Then we can color. Then I'm going to go on to my greens. And again, my green, I want the more limey green. So let's pick up, oops. I'm bouncing around, I'm getting a little bit of green in my yellow, so. Yellow on the green doesn't matter as much as green on the yellow. Oops. So I want a little bit more green here. So yeah, have a block next to you if you're, because you can mix your colors to make whatever color you want.
Oh, your chemistry probably helped you with this.
Yellow and blue makes green. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So now I am just going to color this little guy. And I think this one I started out with a light orange. So depending on which peach you have, this is a darker peach. But some people may have a lighter peach. So if you want darker, you can, if you have a light peach, you can go to your orange yellow, and that'll be a little bit darker. Or you can even add some yellow to it if you want it a little bit brighter. But see how our little swatch thing went pretty far today.
Yeah, it did.
So the Peerless books, it's a pretty big sheet. It's going to last you for a while. So now I am done. So I'm going to pick up my, cleaning off my block. I can actually put my brush away, and I am going to fussy cut out my butterfly. Again, if you don't want to, if you want to save this little jobber for a different one, you can do that. If you want to just color that butterfly. Totally up to you. It's your project. So, and yes, for anybody that's joining right now thinking that Mosaic Moments is supposed to be on, they actually went on at the same time we did by mistake. So theirs is recorded. So I am running over. A, because there's nobody after me because they were already on. And B, I thought I would have plenty of time, but I talk too much and I don't have plenty of time. And we did have some issues, so we were, checking sound and video with people and redirecting them to YouTube and things like that. So anyways, here we are. You got me longer than normal. Like it or
always fun.
Like it or not. So, and then it's up to you whether you want to pop that guy up with foam tape. I think I'm going to pop him up with a little bit of foam tape. I am going to put foam tape on the back of here first, and get that popped up before I attach my butterfly. You are welcome, Kathy. It has been fun. It's a little bit different for me, but yeah. So our winner today, our door prize winner, is Rosemary Step or Steep. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Step. So Rosemary,
so.
You are our door prize winner, and I'm actually not. I was going to announce that Mosaic Moments is on at 12:30 Eastern, but I'm not even sure who's on next. So if anybody knows the schedule, because I think there's a break after Mosaic Moments. So if anybody knows who's on next, if you could please post it, that would be very helpful, because again, I was going to announce that Mosaic Moments was starting 10 minutes ago, but I'm still on and theirs is recorded, and I think there's a break, and then I'm not sure who's on next. So
Let's see if I can see that.
So it's on the Crafters Classroom. It's pinned right to the top.
Yeah.
So yes, if you can find that, that would be great. I'm just going to show one more thing while you're looking that up.
All right.
What I was going to show, this is what I was going to get out. Or, I had an extra piece of paper.
Yeah.
So anyways, let me find where I have that one. So I was going to show, this is a piece of our crystal diamond print glitter. And I was just, if I had extra time, I was just going to pick up, hang on, I think I have yellow on here. I do. So your colors blend really well on this crystal diamond print. So let me pull up a little bit more color so you can see it better. But see how those colors, and you can blend them together or you can blend them out. But yeah, the crystal diamond print glitter, the watercolors work really good on that for blending your colors. And then you can heat set it to dry it, or it will dry on its own. But this is our crystal diamond print. So that's just another medium that you can use with your Peerless watercolors. So let me get the cards pulled out here again for you. Were you able to find it, Mom?
Yep, I posted it.
Okay. Oh, and so did Laura Siegel, Mixed Media
Yep.
with Art Anthologies, on at 1:45 Eastern Time. So thank you for joining me today. Everybody have a happy Easter. Hope you get to spend some time with family sometime between today and tomorrow. And we will see you on Tuesday with what's going on next month. I think it's going to be a book kit, but we'll see for sure. So tune in on Tuesday to find out what we're doing in May. And we will see you later. Bye, guys. Have a great day. Happy Easter. And thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of the presenters. Bye.
Bye.